Okay, let's plug this in. Okay. Check I'm live. Yes. So, welcome back to another Facebook Live yoga video. I hope you had a lovely week. I can't talk. Literally not spoken to anyone all day. So this is like the first time I've spoken all day, and it kind of feels like your mouth is a little bit weird. Maybe you feel the same. Okay, not quite the introduction I planned, but here we go. Let's start again. Welcome back to another Facebook Live yoga video. I hope you've had a nice week. I hope you're having a great Friday. I hope you're not too sad about the weather. We've got some sunny days to come, and yes, that's it. That's all I've got to say. But we've got a fun class planned for today. We are going to be a couple of interesting postures from the end of the Ashtanga sequence. So I've said this before, usually in an hour-long class we only really get time to explore up to boat. So we do something called half primary, but there is a whole portion of postures after boat that are also part of the sequence, and they're really weird. So they include like padangusthasana, which we done the other day, a posture called konasana, supta, something called pindasana. These postures after boat are just crazy. It's just another world. But we're going to have a look at 4 in particular today. We're going to have a look at upavistha konasana, supta, which are wide-legged seated folds. And we're going to have a look at something called ubhaya, padangusthasana, and urdhva, paschimottanasana. So you don't need to know what those mean at all, but they're the ones we're going to have a look at just in case you were interested and wanted to look them up. These postures are groin stretches, they are huge hamstring stretches, but first and foremost, they are rolls. Yes, today's theme is rolls. We're going to do a lot of rolling around on our backs. We're going to do some core work. Groin work and hamstring work, obviously, like I just said. And these postures, at least 3 of them, really they require us to get our legs over our head. So we need ideally to have the feet touching the floor over our head, very similar to what we do in plow. So we're also just going to warm the back up a little bit, the lower back especially, because that is going to make that movement more accessible. So it should be quite fun. I feel like this is a fun class. Honestly, last 15 minutes we're just going to be rolling around on the floor. It's a good way to sort of get in touch with your inner child. If I want to go too like hippy dippy, it's just a good laugh. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you have any injuries, please check with your doctor before doing this. Otherwise, we're just going to begin. You will need no props, just yourself. Just yourself. That's it. Come to the front of your mat. It's been a day, hasn't it, for me? You can tell with me. I'm just going to check in. I feel like we should. Let's come to the front of the mats. Get used. I feel like when we come out of this lockdown, we're all going to be in a similar position. Like, we will be very socially awkward. It's like we're going to have to retrain ourselves to be actual sociable humans again. That's what I feel like is going to happen. But let's just bring our head in the game. So standing at the front of your mat. Yes, we're starting in standing today. Legs together, ankles slightly apart. Lift your shoulders, allow them to fall back, and head slightly tilted forward. So the arms are just relaxed either side of the body. We're not clenching the fists or engaging biceps. We're not overly tense, but we're ready for action. This is a posture, samastahiti. That's how I like to explain this posture. We're aware, we're starting to bring the attention into the room. We're starting to forge that connection with the breath, and it's going to be super important when we get to our rolling about later. So with the rolls, it's the breath really that is like the wind in our sails. So let's start with that. So slowing the breath right down, inhales and exhales equal in length. Breathing through the nose if possible, also moving the breath up into the chest, so feeling the rib cage rise and fall. Rhythmic breaths, but also trying to find a rhythm that is sustainable for you, so something you can maintain. I always say it, but it's easy to forget. We never want to feel like we're running out of breath. Always prioritizing the breath over the posture and using it as a gauge. So if you can't breathe in a posture, you've gone too far. If you want to deepen a posture, maybe taking a couple of deep breaths can help you relax into it a little bit more, especially with those passive stretches. And then just take your attention around the body, check in, see how you feel. So one area you do probably need to be a bit more mindful of today will be your lower back, especially because we're going to be doing some shoulder stand-ish, like esque type movements. So careful of the lower back, maybe the neck as well, but we'll talk about that when we get to the postures. Few more moments here, so just seeing if we can tune out any distractions, forgetting about what you've done earlier, forgetting about what you have to do tomorrow. So just for this 1 hour, focusing on your body, focusing on your breath, and honestly, we're going to have a lot of fun, I swear. Right, so open your eyes if your eyes are shut and we'll begin. So we're going to move through a couple of like sun salutation movements. So as you inhale, we're going to swoop the arms up, look up. So just hold this stretch here. Palms together if possible. If that's really uncomfortable for the shoulders, feel free to bring the palms apart. Gently tilting the head back so it drops between the arms. And then feeling that stretch from fingertips all the way down to toes. So a real sort of like full body stretch here. A few more moments. Okay, take another inhale, see if you can make yourself even taller, and then as you exhale, forward fold. First forward fold can always feel a little bit brutal, so bend the knees as much as you need to. You can be down into a low squat if that feels more comfortable, but once you're down in your fold, once you've got the hands on the floor, just drop the head. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. So as well as working into the calves and the hamstrings, we're also doing this for the lower back. So feeling tension release in that area. Maybe feeling a little stretch down the back of your neck as well. Should feel quite nice. A few more moments here. Bringing the weight forward ever so slightly in towards the toes so we're not sinking back too heavy in the heels. Lovely, and then as you exhale, just step back into all fours. So fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and obviously we're going to do some cat-cows. One, because I love them, but also because we're going to be needing the back to be warmed up to get those feet over the head, like I mentioned earlier. So we're going to do that now. So as you inhale, we're going to lift the hips, lift the chest, look forward. So coming into a little back bend. And then as you exhale, tuck the hips under, round the back, chin to chest, push into the hands. So as you inhale, you lift the hips, lift the chest, look forward, gently drawing those shoulder blades together. And then exhale, arching the spine. So the more you push into the hands, the deeper the stretch across the upper back in towards the shoulders. And then use your breath to guide the movement. Trying to establish that connection as early as possible, really. So the whole of your long inhale lifts and then the whole of your long exhale rounds. Warming up the spine, stretching into all the muscles in the back. Always say it, but your spine doesn't get to move like this very often. This is a really good exercise to do if you get a stiff back. Taking a couple more rounds of this. I don't know, I feel my spine feels a little bit crunchy today, so don't worry if things just feel a little bit tight, a little bit crunchy. But obviously we're trying to avoid sharp or shooting pain, so if you experience any of that, then you just need to either stop or make the movements a little shallower. So you are your own best teacher, say that all the time as well. You know your body best. So just work into a depth that feels comfortable to you. Few more rounds of this. Okay, and then no rush. At the end of your next exhale, just come to a flat back, and then we're coming into child's pose. If possible, feet and knees together. Bum towards heels, getting the bum and heels as close together as possible. Then walking the hands forward. Maybe forearms, forehead. Sinking the upper body down. And if feet and knees together isn't working for you, feel free to separate the knees a little bit. It is really up to you. The most important thing is getting the bum and the heels as close together as possible. That's what creates the stretch in the lower back. So taking a couple more moments here. Maybe crawling the fingertips forwards and drawing the armpits down if you want a slightly deeper stretch in the shoulders. Okay, and then inhale, make your way back up into all fours. So fingers nice and spread, feet hip width apart and parallel. We're going to come up into downward dog. So from here, tuck your toes, hips up and back, and come into your first downward dog. So bending the knees again is absolutely fine. The legs don't have to be straight. The heels do not have to touch the floor. We're trying to create a straight line from the hands, up the arms, up the spine, shooting out the back of the hips. Eventually the body starts to look more 90 degrees, like a 90-degree angle. This time round, we're just going to pedal one heel down towards the floor and then the other. So working into the calves, the hamstrings a little bit deeper. Head relaxes, so head tilts back between the arms, no effort in the neck. And again, just using your breath to guide the movement. So there's no need to super pedal through this. Taking your time. Slow, conscious movements. And then maybe pushing your hip back as you draw your heel down. That starts to bring a deeper stretch towards the glute. So maybe feel it higher up towards your butt cheek, basically. Definitely a deeper kind of sensation there. Few more rounds of this. Remember, keep the head heavy. Keep the fingers spread. Okay, then stop pedaling. Just see if you can draw the thighs a little bit closer towards the back of the room. Maybe tilt your hips up towards the ceiling. And then from here, as you inhale, we're going to step the feet between the hands, look forward. Exhale, just drop the head. Inhale, swooping the arms up, looking up. So finishing how we started. And then exhale, arms by your side. Lovely, let's do that again. So inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold, drop the head. So hold your forward fold again. Few moments here. Just a really good way to release the lower back. Neck heavy. Feeling that stretch in the hamstrings. Lovely, and then as you exhale, come back into all fours. Again, fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then on your next inhale, just take your right leg back, toes tucked. We really need to supercharge the hamstrings for a couple of these postures. So obviously quite a passive way to get into the back of the leg there. So pushing back through the right foot. Maybe some effort in the right quad to help keep that leg as straight and as strong as you can get it. Not much else going on apart from the breath being steady, and we're also looking straight down. So trying to create a straight line from the crown of the head all the way to that back heel. You may feel the shoulders working as well, so we are strengthening into the arms here. A few more moments. And then exhale, bring that right knee down, and then on the inhale, left leg back, toes tucked, pushing back through that left heel, feeling the work in the calf, the hamstring, maybe gently engaging the left quad to get that leg a little bit stronger. Just noticing if one hamstring feels a little bit different, usually does. And then exhale, bring that knee down. Fab. So coming back to child's pose, feet and knees together if possible, bum towards heels. This time, if comfortable, bring the arms either side of the body and then drop the forehead down towards the floor. So with the arms either side of the body, we're just totally relaxing the shoulders. The shoulders are falling down towards the mat. You can always give your wrists a little bit of a wriggle if these downward dogs and four postures are making your wrists hurt. Takes a while for the wrists to get used to it. And then inhale, make your way back up into all fours. Then straight away, feet hip width apart and parallel, tuck in the toes, inhale, downward dog. So you can pedal the heels out if you want, or this time we're just going to keep the dog quite static, so no pedaling. Head just relaxed, then drawing the thighs to the back of the room, maybe tilting the hips up towards the ceiling. Keeping the breath steady through the nose. And over time, obviously we've already done quite a lot of work into the hamstring, so you may notice the heels travelling a little bit closer towards the floor, but don't stress yourself out if that's not happening. It's not the point of the posture. Backwards is the movement, the direction we're moving in. And then as you inhale, feet forward, look forward. Exhale, drop the head. And then inhale, arms up, look up. And then exhale by your side. All right, once more, inhale, arms up, big reach. Exhale, fold, hands to floor, drop the head. Hopefully now this forward fold feeling a little more accessible. A few more moments here. And then exhale back into all fours. And then inhale, right leg back, toes. Right, look at us speeding things up a little bit. Also, I need a haircut. I feel like I've got quite a lot of hair that when I'm flinging my head around, it's like a bowling ball. So I need a haircut if anyone is up for cutting my hair after this. So pushing back through the right leg. Again, coming back to that hamstring stretch. Fingers spread, and then on your next inhale, let's raise that right leg off the floor. And then point the right toes. So we're not hiking the right hip up too high. Both hips should face down, so nice and square. And then with that right toe pointed, maybe feeling a little stretch come into that right quad. And then on your next inhale, let's raise the left arm out in front of you. So the palm can be down or the palm can face inward, whatever feels most comfortable. Balancing table. Should be able to eat my dinner off your back. That's how straight we are. So we've got a lovely long line from the left fingertips all the way down to the right toes. Trying not to banana back, so trying not to let that butt stick out too much. Belly gently draws in. And then hold it here. We're looking straight down, focusing on those lines for 5, 4, I do not miss this posture. 3 is very good though, very good for core stability. 2, and 1, hand down, leg down. Let's change sides. So inhale, left leg back, toes tucked. Pushing back through that left leg. Breath steady. And then on your inhale, let's raise the left leg up and then point the toes, just making sure that left hip hasn't hiked up too much. So both hips face down. Setting the posture up, taking your attention to the core. Going to be working quite hard as you inhale, right arm out in front of you. Then gently imagining someone is gently, we're getting there, pulling your hand and pulling your feet, just giving you a little stretch. So trying to lengthen that line. Really good for sort of building body awareness, this one too. So steady breaths for 5, 4, 3, doing really well. Just hold it here. 2, maybe see if you can make this up a little bit longer, and 1. Hand down, knee down, bum towards heels, feet and knees together, coming back to child's pose. Again, arms either side of the body if that's accessible, otherwise you can keep the arms out in front. Letting the shoulders totally relax, maybe giving your wrists a bit of a wriggle. And then to get into the shoulders a little bit more. Now, these postures we're going to do later, they're not specifically shoulder postures, but they are kind of shoulder stands. So it's always good to warm up the shoulders a little bit. So we will be focusing on them just a touch today. So to work into the shoulders from this position, we're going to keep the bum drawing back towards the heel. So don't let your butt pick up off your feet in this. It happens quite often. Just interlace your hands behind your back. Gently squeeze your shoulder blades together like you're trying to smush something between them. And then on your inhale, let's raise your arms away from your lower back. Up towards the ceiling. Don't worry if they only move a couple of inches. Don't worry if they don't move at all. So shoulders can be notoriously tight, but just see if you can keep rolling those shoulder blades together. Keep the bum drawing down towards the heels. Keep the breath steady and then just holding it here. Every inhale, maybe reaching the arms away a little bit more. So working into the shoulders, into the chest, across the pec muscles. And then exhale, just relax. Let the arms totally flop either side of the body. And then inhale, just pop yourselves back up into all four. For downward facing dog, feet hip width apart and parallel. Tucking the toes, hips up and back. And those hamstrings should hopefully feel a lot looser now. Even if it's just by a little bit. So pushing the thighs to the back of the room, hips up towards the ceiling. Pressing down any gaps that may have appeared underneath your hands. So we want to try and share the weight between the fingers and the palms. And obviously if there's gaps underneath your fingers, you're not doing that. So pressing down as a real upward, pushing downward dog for a few more moments. And then inhale, feet forward, look forward. Exhale, drop the head. And then inhale, swooping the arms all the way up. And then exhale, arms by your side. All right, give yourself a little shake out. I feel like that's good. I feel like it's taken me 25 minutes to learn how to talk in this video, which is kind of fun. So give your legs a shake, give your arms a shake. We're getting there, we're getting there. If you've taken classes with me, you know, it can be quite awkward sometimes. So we are going to do some forward folds. We're going to do a lot of forward folds now. We're going to do 2 Ashtanga forward folds, and then we're going to do the 4 Ashtanga wide folds, and we may even put another one in. So with forward folds, you can bend your knees as much as you need to. Now, if you have a history of back problems, generously bend the knees, all right? If you have a serious back injury like a herniated disc or something, don't do these folds. So you shouldn't be doing forward folds if you have like a slipped disc or something. But if you just get a stiff back, maybe a sore back without any injury like that, a generous bend in the knees is going to be your best friend here. You can have straight legs if your hamstrings are super flexible, but always keep the back of the knees soft. Just wanted to say that before we started. So let's do these forward folds, maybe 7. So the first 2, we're going to stand with our feet hip width apart and parallel. Now, this posture is called padangusthasana. Later on, we're doing ubhaya padangusthasana. So this posture here is very similar to one that we're going to be trying later on, except the feet are going to face the ceiling. Yes. So feet hip width apart and parallel, hands on your hips. So remember, you can bend the knees. As you inhale, lift your chest, gently look up, find some space, and then exhale, we're folding forward. Reaching down to see if we can take big toes first, 2 fingers and thumbs. Then before you come into your fold, inhale, look forward again, straighten the arms. And then exhale, fold. We don't lift the head now, crown of the head drops closest thing towards floor, and you're in your fold.
There's a bend in the elbows, take the bend out sideways, but gently draw the elbows back towards the calves. And then feeling that really huge stretch up the back of the legs, lower back, neck heavy, and breathe. Holding it here. So quite an intense little stretch. But doing a really good job. Over time we're looking to close the gap between the tummy and the thighs, and that's actually more important than having the legs dead straight. It really doesn't matter if you can't straighten the legs. What we're trying to do is not over round the back. So trying to keep the back from what it looks like from the outside relatively straight. Holding it here, a few more moments. And then inhale, look forward, straighten the arms again. Now you can repeat that posture, but if you have the room this time, we're going to stand on our hands, toes up towards wrists. So again, if this doesn't work, just come back to holding the toes. And before we fold, we're all going to do the inhale, look forward. And then exhale, fold again, crown of the head lowers. You can actually use the fingers around the toes or the hands underneath the feet to pull the body closer if that's appropriate, if you want to make this a little bit more challenging. Just see if you can keep the shoulders drawing back towards the waist. So the shoulders want to collapse down towards the ears, but there's an opposing force here. Shoulders draw back towards the waist as we use the hands and the feet to ease the body closer. There's a lot going on, so holding it here, deep breaths. Always can have a rest if you need to, if your hamstrings are screaming at you. Keep the back of the neck really relaxed. Okay, and then inhale, look forward. And then exhale, take your hands to your hips with bent legs. Inhale, push yourself back up to standing. Ooh, and then exhale, give your legs a shake. Lovely. I don't know about you, but my hamstrings have been difficult for me actually this lockdown. I don't drive, so I walk everywhere. And I think I've been doing so much less walking that maybe my hamstrings have just thought, oh, it's a holiday, I don't even have to bother anymore. So now they're super, super tight. So if yours feel tight, you're not alone. Right, we are going to do 4 wide leg folds. Again, this is from Ashtanga. A lot of the postures we're doing today are from the Ashtanga sequence. So stand at the front of your mat. And then this time on your inhale, let's take a bigger step out with your right foot. So we are coming into a wide stance. So even in this, you can bend the knees if you need to, not a problem. You may need to get the hands to the floor. Gently turn your toes inwards. And that's going to help protect the ankles. It's going to help us not come into the splits by accident as well. So we want the legs to be strong in this, stable. Obviously we're going to be working into the groins, the hamstrings, and then take your hands to your hips. We're going to do this 4 times. So just like before, as you inhale, lift the chest, gently look up, find some length in the base of the spine, and then exhale, we're folding forward. Yes. And then we're going to take the hands on the floor, okay? Fingertips in line with toes. To get the hands down, if you're struggling, bend the knees, maybe take your feet a little bit wider. You could have come a bit short, or you can even place blocks or something underneath your hands if you're struggling. Then from here, like any forward fold, inhale, look forward again, find some length, straighten the arms, and then exhale, fold. Crown of the head drops towards the floor. Eventually crown of the head comes down onto the floor, but don't worry if that's not happening. If you have the room at this point, you can walk your hands further between your legs, but keep the fingers facing forward, keep the hands flat on the floor. The elbows are over the wrists and the elbows are in line with your shoulders. Hips high, head low. Beautiful. I can't see you, but lovely. You can actually use your hands to gently pull the body closer to the legs. Holding it here. So there's some different hand positionings, but because I'm an Ashtanga student, teacher, we have the fingers facing forward and the palms flat on the floor. All right, and then holding it here for 5. Doing a great job, feeling that stretch in the back of the legs. 4, 3. So keep that energy going up the hamstrings. Forget where I was. 2. I'm so sorry for all these ages. And 1. Lovely. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, hands to hips. So hover here for a moment. Strengthen the legs as you inhale, come up to standing. Great. All right. And then we're just going to take the arms wide, stretch on the inhale. And then exhale, just take your hands to your hips. So this time we're going to keep the hands on the hips. It's where the shoulder bit comes in. So keeping the hands on the hips as you inhale, lift the chest up, look up. And then exhale, fold forward again. Okay, so crown of the head lowers. Still keeping strong through the legs. And keep the elbows broad. So imagine that I've got my fingertips gently resting on both of your elbows, and I'm asking you to push into my fingertips. So you're trying to broaden across the upper back. Again, eventually head comes down towards the floor, but it's actually trickier now. We don't have the hands to help us. And then holding it here for 5. I won't lose count this time. Deep breaths. 4. Keeping the weight moving forward. 3, so we're not sinking back too heavy in the hips. 2. Supercharging the hamstrings, the groin. And 1, inhale, come up. And then exhale here. 2 more. Now inhale, stretch your arms wide again. And then exhale, this time interlace your hands behind your back. So a bit like what we were doing in that child's pose earlier when we lifted the arms away from the lower back. So interlace your hands, you know what's coming, don't you? And then inhale, lift the chest up, look up, find some room. And then exhale, we're going down again, we're folding forward. Now when you're in your fold, you can start to take the hands away from the lower back, reaching them overhead. I mean, eventually, it depends on how your body's made, really, but some of you may be taking the hands eventually to the floor. Others, doesn't really matter. Again, it's not what the posture's for. Opening into the shoulders is all we're looking at. Getting that lovely stretch in the back of the legs. Deep breaths for 5. A lot going on here. 4. 3. Head's heavy. 2. Things we do. And 1. Then inhale all the way up. Ooh, they can make you a bit wheezy, these. And then exhale, hands to hips. Right, last one. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, fold down halfway. Now very similar to the posture we done before, we're going to reach and see if we can take big toes first, 2 fingers and thumbs. Please keep your thumbs off the mat because you don't want to hurt your thumbs if you stumble. Then from here, you inhale, look forward, straighten the arms. And then exhale, fold. Crown of the head again drops down towards the mat, and you can use the fingers around the toes if you want to pull the body closer. But there's an upward lift here, trying to keep the elbows gently drawing back towards the shins so the arms have purpose. Again, the shoulders draw back towards the waist, keep lifting the hips up towards the ceiling for 5, 4, deep breaths, 3, doing really well, 2, and 1, you inhale, look forward. Exhale, hands to hips, strengthen the legs as you inhale, push yourself up. Then 1 step, this is the fun part. Well, it's only fun if I can see people try, not so fun now. 1 step, exhale, step to the front of your mat. Okay. Amazing, give your legs a shake. All right, so we actually do have another fold to do. You will thank me later when you see how much hamstring these postures involve. So we're just going to do 1 more posture for the hamstring, and then we'll probably crack on with some maybe hip flexor core stuff. Pyramid pose. So again, this looks slightly different in the Ashtanga version. We're not going to do the Ashtanga version this time. We're going to do something a little bit different. So stand at the front of your mat. From here, we're going to take a generous step back with our left foot. So when we come in and actually go through the Ashtanga sequence, this is a smaller step. But for today, let's actually make it a little bit wider and a little bit longer. So the feet are hip width apart. The left foot is going to turn out 45 degrees and the sole of the left foot presses down into the mat. The legs are straight. Now if you're confused about the length, have a look at my feet. This is the kind of length you want. So it's very similar to konasana or triangle pose or something like that. So keeping the knees, we are going to take the hands to the hips. Okay, or if you have a little bit of a dodge back, you can take your hand to the thigh and walk your hand down, up to you. Either way, keeping the legs straight, you inhale, lift, exhale, fold. And then when you're in your fold, you're going to take the hands to the leg. Now, if possible, let's take the hands either side of the right foot. If that's not happening, you can take the hands to the shin, or you can even stay upright and have the hands on the thigh, wherever you are, to get that big old stretch in the right hamstring. Now, if you have the hands on the floor, just let the head go. We're just sort of sinking down into that straight right leg. Keeping the connection with the back foot on the floor, being mindful not to lock the knees. And if you're struggling to keep the right leg straight, it's a that you need to come up just a little bit higher. This isn't about getting the hands to the floor. This is about keeping that right leg straight, as straight as possible, and feeling that really deep stretch in the hamstring. Holding it here, so keeping the neck relaxed. Why did I do the hamstring? Because my hamstrings are so tight. Doing really well. A few more moments here. Okay, then inhale, just look forward. Now you can come straight up to standing. Again, if you feel like you want a bit of support, you can just walk your hands up that right leg and make your way up into standing. And then you're going to step your left foot forward. This is effectively a hamstring class. And then step your right foot back. Rolls, what are they? So similar length, hip width. So if you take your feet one behind the other, you're going to fall over. So if you found that hard to balance, widen the feet a little bit. Keeping the legs as straight as possible. You're either just going to take your hands to your hips and come straight down, or you can walk your hand down that straight left leg. Inhale, lift, exhale, fold. Hands to thigh, hands to shin, hands to either side of the foot, doesn't matter, and just keep that right foot turned out about 45 degrees. Again, once you're down, maybe just sinking down into that leg if you've got the hands on the floor. Letting the neck relax, keeping the connection between the sole of the right foot and the mat, so keep pressing down through that foot. And you may notice the differences between the sides. Maybe there's a big difference, or maybe it's not so noticeable, so just checking in. Keeping the breath steady. I do love this posture. It kills, but it's such a good hamstring stretch. Few more moments. Okay, and then inhale, look forward. And your choice, you can just come up to standing, or again, you can walk your hand up the leg. And then you can just step your feet to the front of your mat and definitely give your legs a shake. I feel like our hamstrings are there. I feel like we can stop doing that now. So come to the front of your mat. We're going to make our way for a sun salutation down to the floor. So feet together, legs together. Lift your shoulders, allow them to fall back, head slightly tilted forward. Taking a couple of deep breaths. Okay, then as you inhale, swooping your arms up, looking up, big reach. And then exhale, fold, hands to floor, drop the head. I mean, you're pros now. All this hamstring work we've done should be easy. Then inhale, look forward, lengthen, your choice. Exhale, step or jump back to plank. And lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward dog. And then from downward dog, you are either coming down onto your knees into seated, or you can practice your jump throughs and swing yourself through into seated. Right, lovely. So, I feel like the first thing we are going to do is boat. That's what you want to do when I've read it out. I'm like, do you know what? Just a cheeky little boat. So that's one thing we're going to do first. And we're just going to go through the stages into boat. Gonna hold boat. And then we're gonna do some little boat sets, and then we're gonna crack on with these rolls. The reason I wanna do boat is because of the core. So when we do these rolls, to get into the position, predominantly hamstrings, groin, lower back, I mean, we've worked those areas with all those folds we've been doing, so hopefully we've set ourselves in position. But what holds us when we swing ourselves up is the core. The core is like the brakes. So we're just gonna fire that area up. So we're gonna make our way through this. If at any point it hurts your back, stop. And we're gonna go through stages. Again, you have the option to stop at any stage you want. Make yourself tiny. Make yourself into a tiny, tiny ball. Right, hugging the thighs in towards the belly. I like to have the ankles crossed here. Eventually we're gonna uncross them anyway, up to you. And then once you've made yourself into this tiny little ball, just move back and see if you can balance on your butt and lift the feet up off the floor. And then holding it here. All right. So this can actually be really challenging. A lot of people find this super challenging, finding that balance point, trying to keep the back upright, breath steady. And then this is sort of step number one. If you want to hold it here, you can hold it here. Otherwise, from here, we're going to take away the help of the hands. So this means the adductor muscles inside of the thighs and the hip flexors. Top of your legs are going to be working really hard. We want to try and keep the legs together and try and keep the legs hugged in towards the belly. As you release the hands, hands become parallel, palms face one another. Woo! Holding it here. I had quite a lot of cake for lunch. If you had a lot of cake for lunch as well, this might not be as fun. But just holding it here, doing a great job. A few more breaths, squeezing the legs in, squeezing the thighs together. I never learned my lesson. And then from here, as you inhale, let's make those shins parallel. Woo. And then suck in the thighs in towards the belly, keeping the legs together. Again, if this hurts your back, just come back to a gentler variation. Otherwise, breath steady, feeling that work. And then the last step as you inhale is to straighten the legs. Right, boat. I feel like I've already done boat today, so I feel like I should have to do it. Hold your boats, or hold anywhere on that sequence. We're just gonna hold it for a few breaths. So imagine there is a piece of string that's coming out of your chest that's lifting you. You're trying to make a V with the body. Point your toes, look at your feet. I'm not doing it. And then hold it here. You're doing a great job. Just keep doing it. Breathe, breathe. Hold it for 5. Feel the work in the core. 4, feel bad. Guilt me. 3, doing amazing. Keep lifting that chest. 2. Feel like we should hold a bit longer. 2, doing great. And 1, just release. All right. Okay, give your legs a shake. Oh, so we've woken up the core. Feel like that's all we need. So we're gonna do some rolls now. Watch me. This is the first thing we're gonna do. So remember, the core is your brake and your breath is your accelerator. I feel really proud of these comparisons. So the inhale is what's going to pick you up. The exhale and the core is what stops you. All right, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So we're basically going to make ourselves into that teeny tiny ball again. Now, really important in this, you round your back. So if obviously the back is flat, you're literally just going to fall over, you're not going to be able to get up. So you want to curve the back. You're going to pick the feet up off the floor, and this is what you're going to do. So watch me, pressure. So as you exhale, you're going to go back. Inhale comes up and then stop before the feet hit the floor. So exhale back, inhale up, stop. Don't let the feet hit the floor. So we're going to do some together now. I'm going to do them with you. So let's go. Make yourself into a ball round the back. And then exhale, go back. Inhale up, stop. Exhale back. Inhale up, stop. Doing a good job. Exhale back. Inhale up, stop. Feet don't hit the floor. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. If you're tuning in, Inhale up. This probably won't make sense. Exhale back. Inhale up. Last one. Exhale back. Inhale up. Hold it. And then release. Okay. They're quite fun. I think they're fun. So obviously the rolls can sometimes hurt spine. So you may want to like pad it out a little bit more. But yeah, it's a core posture. The core is stopping you on the way up. So doing those, great fun and good for your core. So the next thing I'm going to have a look at is upavistha konasana, supta konasana. Said it whilst making my legs really wide. So just watch me for a second. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is come into the seated wide fold. So as we come down, you may not come very far, that's okay. You're going to fold forward as far as you can, even if that's just a few inches. Toes pull back, toes face the ceiling. If you're folding down a lot, the feet will want to fall inwards, but keep them rolling back out. So there's an external rotation in the thighs. Now if you're coming down low enough, hope you can see me, you're going to take the outside of your feet, okay? And you're going to hold it here. You may come down chin or chest. You may not, you may just stay upright. So if possible, you're going to take the outsides of your feet as you fold. If that isn't happening, then hands are just going to come in between your groin, you're going to fold forward. Just keep the legs active. Now after we've held that fold, we're going to see if we can pick the legs up. Yes, I haven't done this for a while. Okay, so we're going to hold it here, and then as you inhale, you look up. Now, from here, we're going to let go of the feet if we've got them. So if you don't have the feet, it's the same thing. I'm going to point the toes. I'm going to inhale. My radiator's there. We're going to inhale, see if we can kick the feet up. Woo! And take hold of the outside of the feet, all right? That's what we're going to do. I'll talk you through it. Let's see what happens. So this is hip flexors. Eventually you can sort of do this with straight legs holding onto the feet apparently, but I don't think so. So let's give this a go. So legs wide. Alright, so legs wide, legs strong. Toes face the ceiling. Didn't think this class through with my radiator there. Legs are going to be active all the way throughout this. Then take your hands in between your groin, or if you can take the outsides of your feet. Wherever you are, inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, fold. Whether you've got the outside of the feet, no matter how far you're folding, whether you've got the hands in between the groin, just keep those toes facing up. Legs roll outwards and hold it here for 5. So groin stretch, obviously. 4, 3, 2, doing great, and 1. Now from here, as you inhale, look forward, release the feet, point the toes, and then see if you can inhale, pick up and catch the outsides of your feet. Can't see you, but I'm imagining. Okay, if that didn't work, take the legs back down, see if you can do it again. So come down into your fold, just hold it here for a little second. Inhale, look up, point the feet, roll back. Rolling back helps. Pick up. See if you can take the outsides of your feet. Honestly, last 10 minutes of these classes are just a riot. You could just practice that at home. Cross your legs. Lovely. So come onto your back, tuck your knees onto your chest, rock from side to side. So this is I love this class. It's kind of more fun doing it in person though, because we can roll about together and have a laugh. But I'm still imagining that you're having a great time doing this, rolling about. Again, don't take yourself too seriously when you do this. Okay, so the next posture I wanted to have a go at is supta konasana. Again, don't really have the space for this. Now with supta konasana, you have to be mindful of your neck, you've got to be mindful of your back. It involves us taking our feet over our heads and taking our legs wide. Okay, I'm going to see if I can kind of show you what it is. Even if you can't see the whole thing, you'll get an idea. So with this posture, it's kind of like the first shoulder stand you come to in Ashtanga really. The hands are going to come either side of the body. You're going to use the hands just like you would shoulder stand. You're going to inhale, pick up, take the feet overhead and take the feet wide. Now if you cannot get the toes to touch the floor, what you do is you take your hands to your lower back and you can hang out here. Just make sure the weight is in the shoulders, and you're just going to hold it here until you want to come out, okay? With the hands on the lower back for support, the feet can just sort of be hovering, and you can just use the hands to help you out a little bit. Now, if the feet come to the floor, if the toes come to the floor, you're going to take hold of your big toes. All right. And this is the starting position. To see if we can roll up to seated and hold the legs out. So watch me for a second. So what you need to do is you need to push, but not push too hard. You're going to push the feet into the floor and use the inhale to help you up. So inhale, you come up. Exhale. Core. Hold it. And then if you want to take it one step further, you can just lower down to the floor into your wide fold. So if the feet don't hit the floor, hands to lower back, hold it. If the toes hit the floor, take the toes. You kick into the feet, but not too much. You don't want to like send yourself flying. You want to find that balance point. You inhale, whoosh, hold it, and then maybe you fall back down into your seated fold. Let's do it. Right. Again, I was speaking to someone earlier, and she was telling me about the videos, the classes, and she was like, "You said to do something." I was like, "No." I can imagine everyone just like, "No." But this is a fun thing to try. All right, let's give it a go. Lie down. Whew. This is make our own fun Friday nights. So hands either side of the body. Now press into the hands. You've got to get your feet, a bit of welly. You've got to get your feet over your head. If you've got a sore back, no welly. But if you haven't, bit of welly. Then as you inhale, kick your feet over your head. Oh my God, just kicking stuff over. Brill. Now if your feet do not hit the floor, I'm going to have to move this pillow. If your feet do not hit the floor, then you're going to take your hands to your lower back, and you're just going to hang out here. Let the weight come back into your elbows a little bit, and just see how this feels, okay? Just hold it here. Now if your feet do hit the floor, take hold of your big toes. Now, your inhale is your accelerator. You need to press the feet into the floor to roll yourself up. Let's go. Inhale up. Pause. Pause at the top. Hold, hold, hold. And then exhale, come down into your forward fold. Beautiful. Great. Let's do it again. Right. I just feel like we should do it again. So if you again can't get the toes hit the floor, just play around with the movement. Please be careful and come out of it whenever you're ready. Otherwise, we're going to have another go at that. Legs over your head. Legs wide. The toes hit the floor, take hold of the big toes. You're going to have to press the feet into the floor. Inhale up, pause at the top. Pause. And then exhale, drop. Beautiful. Beautifully done. Lovely. So that is upavistha is the seated fold. Supta is that whoosh coming over. I have actually really hurt my chin before, because what happens when you're learning this is you have no control. So you kick up, you can't hold at the top, and I've just smashed my chin down on the floor. So it takes a while to get there. You've done a really good job. So just come onto your back, hug your knees into your chest, to rock from side to side. There is a couple more I want to do. I don't know what I've got 5 minutes left. I don't know what I've been doing this whole class. Maybe just one. Yeah, I'll do this. So this one is incredibly similar. Ubhaya padangusthasana. And this is, remember padangusthasana is the posture we were doing earlier, the forward fold. So just give your back a proper rock out here, because these can be quite backy. And this is very similar to the last posture we done, except this time the legs are together. So watch me just for a second. Again, we've got to get our feet over our head. If you've had enough, you can just watch. Fun. So we've got to get our feet over our head again. If the feet do not touch the floor, this is a big posture. This is effectively a plough. If your feet do not touch the floor, do not worry about it. Just take the hands to the lower back. Maybe stay here if you feel comfortable, or you can just come out of the posture and have a rest. But if the toes do hit the floor, you are going to take hold of your big toes, first 2 fingers and thumbs. Look, this is what we were doing earlier. Then same thing. You are going to push the feet into the floor, but not too much. As you inhale, you come up, inhale up, stop. Yes. And then you are gonna gently tilt the head back and look up towards the ceiling. Easy peasy. Let's do it. It's not easy. Let's do it. So just have some fun with it. Why not? Come down. This is cheering me up. I wasn't even sad, but I feel like I like rocking about and stuff like this. I think it's fun. So legs straight, hands either side of the body. Again, please be mindful. Bit of welly to get your feet over. If you know your back's okay, get the legs over the head. Press into the hands can really help as well. A bit of welly, press into the hands either side of the body, feet up. Again, if the toes don't hit the floor, then you want to take the hands to the lower back. Just let the weight come back into the elbows a little bit and play around with that movement. If the toes do hit the floor, then you take hold of the big toes. This is ubhaya padangusthasana. Yes. Now, you need to press the feet into the floor. You're going to have to inhale to get you up. Inhale up. And then hold at the top. Okay, let's try that again. So something that can happen with this is it's quite hard for people to come up straight legged. That is why we've been doing all this hamstring work. If you can't come up straight legged, bend the knees to help you get up, then straighten from there. All right, let's do that again. Legs over. You can just keep doing this at your own pace now. Right, take hold of the toes if you're doing this version. You got to press into the floor, use your inhale to get you up. Bent legs is fine if you need a little bit of extra help. Straight legs eventually, then inhale up. And then exhale, stop. Core's working, head back, look up. You can do that as many times as you want. Okay, lovely. And the last one is urdhva, paschimottanasana. Now this is exactly the same as the one we just done, but a lot harder, because instead of taking the big toes, we're going to take the outside of the feet. I don't know why this makes it harder. It literally makes it 1,000 times harder. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So again, I know I keep coming back to it, but it is important. If your toes do not hit the floor, hands to lower back, weight into the elbows, and just experiment with the posture, or even just stop now and rock about and have a rest. This is the last one we're going to be doing. So what we are going to do this time, again, the legs come over the head, and for some reason, taking the sides of the feet make it 1,000,000,000 times harder. So for me, I bend my knees just a smidge in this one because I can't do this straight leg, I don't think. But same things apply. You press into the feet, you inhale up, okay? You hold it here, and then once you're up, like a forward fold, press the legs in towards the body, heels, forward fold, look up. I was like, Ashley, I've had enough now. You're doing this by yourself. Let's just give the roll up a go. So I do need to bend my knees in this one. Eventually you do it straight leg, but I don't know why. I just want you to get a sort of understanding of how different it can be with the toes and the side of the feet. So last time, down, legs up and over. Take the outside of the feet, and already this has become a problem. So if you're taking the outside of the feet and you're thinking, do you know what, Ash, I'm not doing this, then take hold of the toes, maybe give that version a go. You can even separate the legs and give that version a go. Otherwise, take the side of the feet. I'm going to do it once. Maybe bend the knees a little bit. Really got to push into those feet as much as you can. Inhale up. Woo! Stop at the top. And then just see if you can pull your legs in towards your body a little bit more, and maybe look up. Okay. Lovely. I'm just imagining if people tune in like halfway through that, I've literally got my butt up, my feet over. Beautiful. So those are some postures, those are some rolls. And honestly, if you're really into Ashtanga, it's really worth checking out the postures after boat, because they are something else, they're on another level. If you really want to be bewildered, check out second and third series as well. No way. So just come down onto your back. Lovely, hug your knees into your chest. And I know I've done the same thing that I always do, which is run over. But we are going to just do a couple of twists. Now, I really recommend staying around for these twists. We're just going to do like maybe one or something, I don't know, but those postures are big on the back, you know, so I just want to give us a little spinal twist. So feet together, knees together, arms out wide, palms down. So if you want a gentler twist, feet together, feet on the floor. If you want a deeper twist, just pick your feet up off the mat a few inches. Inhale here, then exhale, legs really lazily fall over towards the right. And then just gently turn your head and look over your left shoulder. The only effort in this posture is to keep that left shoulder down. Otherwise, the legs are falling as far as they want to fall, no effort. They can fall apart if they don't want to stay together. Breath steady. Okay, and then inhale back to centre, and then on the exhale just let the knees fall over towards the left. Turn and look over your right shoulder, keep that right shoulder down, very lazy, just fall into the posture. Okay, and then inhale back to centre, and then coming into Shavasana. So legs straight. If you want a bit more back, knees bent, hands a little way away from the body, palms up, and then just have a little rest. Have a minute. I'm going to have a minute with you. So let's just lie down. Let the breath come back to normal, and then take your attention around the body. So big postures, those rolls. Big old core postures, groin, hamstring. A lot going on. But more than nailing the posture, what I like about rolls is they're fun. Like, obviously they require you to get the feet on the floor, but even then they're fun. Like, it's fun as an adult to roll about on the floor and be allowed to like mess about. That's kind of fun. So don't worry about the technique, don't worry about any of that. Eventually you can refine all of that, but for me these rolling about postures are more like permission to play almost, which is really important, I think. You know, you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you want. I'm going to come out of it now because I've run over. So you can move your fingers and toes if you're coming out, cat stretch. Hug your knees into your chest. Now really rock the lower back out. Should feel quite nice. And then when you're ready, you can pop yourself up. Right, thanks for joining me. That's such a funny class. Like, first of all, I forgot how to talk, and then we just sort of rolled about the whole way. Yeah, so the rolls are, it's my mum who's commented. The rolls are big postures, especially for lower back. And usually by the time you get to them, you've done the whole of the Ashtanga sequence, so the back is a little bit more warmed up. That is one thing you do have to be careful about in any forward fold, whether it's like a roll forward fold or a forward fold, is your lower back. So if you didn't do the rolls, if you couldn't do them and you felt like that was too much for the lower back, then I suggest doing some stuff to maybe release that area. But it's gentle stuff like spinal twists, you know, forward folds, bent legs, maybe, just any sort of twists are good. So don't be disheartened if you couldn't do them today, because you will hopefully get to do them. I'll just sort of give my mum a pep talk. I can do this off camera. Right, I'm off. I might see you on Sunday if you're joining me for Ashtanga. Otherwise, I'll see you next week for another bunch of classes. Have a lovely weekend. Bye. Bye. Oh.